I've been reading a book, and it describes in one section 1870 to 1970. And it basically makes the argument like there was so much human progress that happened in that time period because of technology inventions of the automobile, electricity, all this stuff. The elevator created urban density. The automobile created horizontal speed, so we now can move things faster. We had the steam engine. We started going through all that, the Industrial Revolution. Like all these things were happening, and it was just an explosion.
Mm.
But in order to describe how great that time period was, I have to explain to you what life was in the 1870s and before.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the takeaway is like that shit was hard.
Horrible. Yeah.
And some of the key details are men worked till they died.
Yep.
There was no retirement. There's no social security. There's no anything. Like literally you worked because the day you stopped working, your family stopped eating.
Mm-hmm.
And so they worked in the fields and all stuff. 75% of Americans in 1870 were in rural areas. Over 70% of all workers worked in what were categorized as unpleasant jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Women inside of the household had immense responsibilities and physical labor in terms of carrying flour and water and all these different things. They had to sew their own clothes. They had to do all this stuff. And the homes were all unconnected. They call it unnetworked, meaning that they had no gas, electricity, running water, like any of this stuff. That is a hard life that we are very fortunate today. We don't have to do that stuff. There's technology that does a bunch of this. Our homes are all connected. Like all these different things. The shift from unpleasant to pleasant jobs is like basically a 180.
So you're saying they weren't debating about pronouns and misgender?
No, they were out in the fucking field with the mule trying to make sure that they had food for the winter. And so like you look at this and you're like, yo, we got it so good that people are bored. And like, you want to know how I know we're bored? Go check every person's cell phone and see the hours spent on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you can be learning about educational stuff or you can be doom scrolling.
Yes.
And we all do both. But like, if you spend an hour on your phone, basically just rotting your brain, you got an easy life.
Yes.
Because anyone who has a hard life doesn't have that luxury. And so it's like, is this the end result of basically just being so free, so good in life that we debate this shit?
Yeah, we're living through an overcorrection of multiple sorts. Do you know why I talk about this stuff?
Why?
It's because of it's literally because of what you just said. Because I recognize how good we have it and how freaking long it's taken for things to get here. And I'm like, guys, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. The conversation we were just having about, racial harmony. Dude, look around the world, look through history. People were freaking racist, man. Like it was horrible. People used to enslave each other, segregate, brutalize each other, call each other like just nasty stuff. People used to get lynched, bro. Like it was the KKK at its peak had over 4 million members. The KKK had members like people in Congress. They had governors. They had like in the KKK, like imagine the governor of a state being in the KKK. Like that used to be okay. Like not even 100 years ago. And
that is fucking wild.
That's wild.
I'm sorry, like that is just such a fucking insane statistic.
That's what I mean. So when I hear people say like, oh, racism is just as bad as it's always been. In fact, it's getting worse. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like we can recognize things not being perfect and we can strive for better, right? We all have ways we want society to improve. But if you are going to discount the progress that's been made over the past century, 2 centuries, then it's going to lead you to this area where you lack perspective and you lack gratitude. And when you lack perspective and you lack gratitude, as you problematize things, you create problems where they don't exist. And if you're not careful, you can make things worse, right? So human nature, I don't believe, has fundamentally changed over those centuries, right? What has changed? The 2 advantages that we have as people who are alive in 2022, the key 2 big advantages we have over our grandparents and great-grandparents is, number 1, we have better stuff. We have more technology. We have the internet. We have the opportunity and the tools to just do cool stuff, right? We have new tools. And we have knowledge of the history. Mm-hmm. So rather than trying to reinvent the wheel all the time, we can look back and go, how do we know segregation is a bad idea? How do we know that racial segregation is a bad idea, right? Oh, because we can look at apartheid. You can look at Jim Crow. You can look at how this has happened in different places. You can see what it led to. You can see, man, that was like a moral deficiency. It led to this problem. It led to that problem. Like, it was, and it was just wrong, right? You can look back. How do we know that slavery is wrong? Oh, because it was tried for thousands of years across different countries. And yeah, like you don't even need to debate it. It's just like, okay, that was clearly wrong. And those are the only two advantages we have. Fundamentally, we have the same hardware. Right? Our brains operate in the same way. Like, we have the same bodies and the same organs. And so let's not be stupid with that technology and with that knowledge.
Hey, you, did you like this video? Great. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.